Welcome back to the Ask Dr. Be Good podcast, where we try to shine a light on the positive things going on in public education. One of our ongoing themes has been college readiness. The reason that we spend so much time on that in our podcast is because we're a college preparatory academy, and we're one of the few schools around that really actively works hard to have students start their dual credit, their college courses, in ninth grade. And of course, to do that, we have to back up and get our kids ready, not in high school for college, but we have to start as early as elementary to start preparing not only our children, but our teachers of the elementary children to think about what that means at their level. And so we have several levels of college readiness to talk about, and we have talked about, but today we're going to focus in on the steps to actually get ready for the first day of college. And so I've asked back Miss Natasha Forge. She is our college and career readiness counselor, and she is the expert in this area. And so we appreciate you being on and coming back and joining us. So talk a little bit sort of from the elementary on. What do we do to get ready for college? And then what are the steps to actually get ready for the first day of going to college, not in our dual credit classes, but after they graduate?
One of the first things that we would like for parents to do is we do want them to start talking about going to college at a very early age. Even when the students are kindergarten, first grade, just to begin to start incorporating college in the conversations that they're having at home. However, at Legacy, what we offer, our facilitators offer, they talk to students about careers. And so this is something that they have in their lesson plans, and it focuses on the different careers that students can go into as they continue to, as they're continuing school. We also have an annual career day where we have speakers coming in, and they go from class to class, and they talk to students about their careers. So this does change every year so that students are open to and see different types of occupations on a regular basis, opposed to just the regular firefighter and police officer, even though those are great. However, we also bring in doctors and nurses and pilots and people in the military so that students know that there's so many different opportunities for them, even in early years.
Well, it makes sense to start making it relevant, to start helping kids understand that if you do want to be the engineer, you want to be the X person that came before you during career day, that there's a backstory.
Yes.
You have to do something to prepare to be that.
Correct.
And so that's the start of the conversation around how can you become an engineer or a doctor or a lawyer and so forth.
And that's one of the things that we ask the speakers to do, to basically explain the steps that it takes for them to get there. What do they have to do? Do they go to a community college? Do they go to a 4-year college? And did they have to receive their master's? And even though sometimes students don't understand at the kindergarten level, as they continue to hear that information over and over, then it becomes more relevant to them. However, we have to get the information out to the students and make sure that they're understanding.
And we do this for a variety of reasons, but a big one at Legacy is that many of our students will be first-generation college kids.
Correct.
And research says that for our first-generation college goers, there are many stumbling blocks. And there have been books written about those stumbling blocks and how to overcome them. Mm-hmm. And that's what we try to do, is try to help our students be ready for the obstacles that we know they will face in between high school and day one of college, and get them ready for that transition in a way that makes them actually show up for that first day.
And so that's kind of what we began to incorporate in middle school. So our higher school endorsements are public service health, business industry IT, and business industry business management. So what we have started in our sixth grade courses that we offer technology applications so that the students are able to understand Word and Microsoft Office, that platform. However, in the seventh grade year, we offer career investigations. This is when the students actually begin to research those particular careers that we offer our endorsement within. However, then their eighth grade year, they actually have hands-on courses that's going to help them. So we offer the computer applications, which is for the technology side, and then we offer medical detectives for the health side, and then we infuse the business within. So that means that through their middle school years, they are able to decide by the end of their 8th grade year what endorsement they really want to go into, because they would have done research as well as had some hands-on experience with it.
And just as a reminder that we have several endorsements, which are career pathways in our high school, as per the new legislative requirement from a couple sessions ago, House Bill 5. But we mostly focus in on health science and information technology, and there's business.
Yes, so last year at our Mesquite campus, we were able to bring in our business courses. So right now we have business, 2 courses for business, and then our Plano campus, we have the one. We did start it this year, so our freshmen and sophomore at the Mesquite, and then our freshmen this year at Plano were able to begin that pathway.
And that's something that kids have to sign up for. So some years we don't have anybody sign up for business, and then others we do.
Well, yeah, so far we've had a very good amount of students in both campuses that have wanted to go into the business pathway. So that's going to be our 3rd endorsement. That's going to also make us very marketable for other students to come to our school moving forward.
Okay. So, and we've talked a little bit about elementary. We've talked more about how we're preparing them in middle school. Then what happens starting in 9th grade?
In 9th grade, the students were from 8th grade to 9th grade. The students are going to choose their endorsement, and that's why we really focus on 7th and 8th grade, making sure they understand which pathway they want to choose. Their 9th grade year, from 9th grade to 10th, that's the only year that they can really change their endorsement. That's why we are heavily on it in the middle school years. But when they choose their endorsement, then we offer 4 classes, one for 9th, 10th, 11th, and 12th each, so that the students can begin to really delve into the knowledge. So when they leave us, then they can start an entry-level job. If they choose not to go to college, but of course we want them to go. However, they can still start an entry-level job with the background knowledge and skills that they would need. And they can also use that as a part-time job as they are attending college. So that's one of the first things that they do, choosing that pathway. Then we also have different courses. We have like our rotation days in which our students are in classes in which we start helping them build their resumes. And so that's one of the things that they want to do, because when they're a senior, we don't want them to have to go back to when they were in 9th grade. So they start it's like a running record. They keep it in a Google Docs.
Is that something they need for college?
Yes, they do need it for college. And so the resume basically goes over all of their information that any activity that they've been in starting in 9th grade. So if it was sports, if it was academics, if it was work-related, volunteer work, we want all of that information on their resume, so that when they are a senior and the colleges are requesting their resume, then it's already complete and they're not having to.
Why is that important?
It's very important for the students to have their resume to show how active they were. So even though some colleges, when students apply to colleges, they want to see the holistic child. They want to know what else you've done outside of making all A's. And so it's very important to stay active in the school system and even outside of the school.
Sure, like church activities, Boy Scouts, Girl Scouts.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of volunteer
UIL,
service projects.
Correct. Mm-hmm. If, like I said, even sports, if they're volleyball, basketball, any of those things, they want to see that the students are very active in, not just being at home every day and, just their academics, that it's the holistic child.
And just as a reminder, more people are going to college now, which means that it's a little bit more competitive.
Yes,
so when kids are applying to college, and especially if they're looking for scholarships, that college resume could make the difference as to whether they get any money or don't get money, or get accepted, don't get accepted.
Right, and also the essays. So a lot of times students, they wait till the last minute, or they don't want to complete an essay, but normally for most scholarships, the students will have to complete an essay as well as their college application. They have to complete an essay, and so that's something else that we begin to work on with the essays. So we normally, most of our students who are attending college, who want to attend college in Texas, we have them use the Apply Texas application process, and with that there's 5 5 essays, and then their school of choice will determine which essays they will need to complete.
So that's a little bit new information for me. So what I'm hearing you say is that Texas has a site that kids can go to apply for Texas colleges.
Correct.
And within there's 5 templates for essays.
Yes. There's 5 templates for essays, and the school of their school of choice, whoever they have applied to, that school will let them know which, if any,
What are
essays they have to complete. The topics are usually things such as, why do they want to attend college? How is it going to benefit them? What do they have to bring to the college? Things of that nature.
Okay.
So.
Soul-searching essays.
Yes.
Oh, I bet they enjoy writing those.
No. Of course, it has been a struggle, but when we start them out in 9th grade and just continue to work on their penmanship and
tweak 'em.
the grammar, then they'll be excellent by seniors. And so some of the other things that we ask the students to do during those rotation times is to research. We want students to research the colleges in which they want to attend. And the first thing is we focus on their major and minor. So if the students, if they're in technology, then we expect for them to find colleges and universities with technology majors and minors. And so the point of that is so that you're just not applying for all of the different colleges. Even within the Apply Texas application, there are fees that you have to pay for the application. They can range from $25 up to $85. So by the time the scholars have reached their junior year, we've asked for them to have at least chosen 5 colleges, one of those being a community college. But their senior year, when they're actually physically getting ready to apply, then we want them to have 2 major colleges and universities and then 1 community college. So we want all students to at least apply to 3 colleges, if not more.
And who pays for that fee?
The parents usually the scholars and the parents pay for that fee. However, many times we do have the students who are eligible for the waiver for the ACT and the SAT. There is a form that they can download because they are eligible, and then the school will sign it, and then that college board will pay for will give a waiver.
They don't want any excuse in holding kids back.
Correct.
That's great.
Exactly. And so that's so many partnerships in education to make sure that students are able to attend college.
So let's talk a little bit about that payment process. We pay for the courses at Legacy. I think we've said that many times in many podcasts. Mm-hmm. But what happens once they leave us? Nobody so far has completed a 4-year degree at Legacy. So
right.
They go on, and then what happens? How do they pay for it?
Well, we do pay for our dual credit courses for our students who have participated and will continue to participate. Outside of that, then what we do is we encourage starting the October 1st of each year, we ask for parents to go ahead and begin to apply for the FAFSA. So basically, it's funding that is available for students, and some students are eligible for grants based on their parents' income. However, some students who don't have a Social Security number, they apply for the TASFA. And so the FAFSA is sent to the IRS. However, with federal student loans, and then the TASFA is sent directly to the college of choice. So that's the difference in those two. But normally either parents will have saved up money. Some scholars can work on site, which is usually called work study. We still encourage students to apply for scholarships, and that's one of the things that we do weekly, apply for at least 1 scholarship. I have asked the students to apply for 2 a week because free money is free money, and that's what we want them to have, a free, debt-free education. Then outside of that, then if they have to receive financial aid, then they'll receive the financial aid.
What's involved in the FAFSA, filling that out?
It's a lot of demographic information. The parents and the students both have to ask for FSA ID, and once they receive that ID, then the student can go online and apply for the FAFSA, and then they do have to link their parents' IRS tax forms from the previous year. As of right now, since we're in 18, then they can do 16, but when we go to 19, it has to be their 17 school year. I mean, not school year, but physical year.
IRS year.
Yes.
How long does it take to fill out a FAFSA?
I would say it's lengthy. It usually takes about 30 minutes, 30 dedicated minutes on it. And so, I mean, so that the students and the parents, is usually best for both to be there together to complete it.
Have we ever considered having a FAFSA fill-out night where we invite parents and we provide the computers?
Yes, so we did have, when we had our recent college fair, we had a room that was set up for FAFSA. If parents had questions or anything, we did have we met with the seniors prior to that date, and many of them had already completed the FAFSA, but there was a room available if parents needed to continue to complete it.
Because we just don't want that to be the issue. You know?
Correct.
Parents' lack of knowledge using the computer, no internet at home.
Right.
It can't be the reason a kid doesn't go to college.
Correct. We want funding. And so that's why it's very important for students to apply for scholarships. And so we have scholarships.com that we've asked students to apply on, fastweb.org, niche. And so with niche, there's so many scholarships that the students can apply for that don't require an essay. And then we have moolahspot.com. They are offering a $1,000 scholarship for, and the students, they have to complete a 400-word essay, which means they ask things such as, why do you deserve this scholarship? Or they can have an essay of choice. So some students, they went back to one of their school essays.
One of their 5, right?
Yeah, no, they went to one of their class essays that they had to complete.
Their star essays that they were practicing on?
Yes, so they also, I said, hey, if it basically said it could be any essay of choice. So, yeah, so hopefully we'll start, hearing soon about students.
So that started in
money.
October. You guys started in October.
Oh, well, no, we've been starting a scholarship process since September. Okay. However, we're just still waiting. But we continue to do it weekly, an essay weekly. A scholarship weekly.
Well, and that's something I think parents need to understand is that this is not a fast process.
Oh, no. And that's one of the things. You do have to be patient. But one of the things that I do like for parents to know and for scholars, don't ever pay for a scholarship. So sometimes they go on websites and they'll say if you pay $300, then you'll be eligible for $20,000. But you should never have to pay for a scholarship. Scholarships, that's free money. So that's something that's very important.
Is that just a scam?
It is a scam.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. And so we talk with the students about all the scams, but that's one of the major ones about, that always comes up. Well, they're going to charge me $25. They're going to charge me No, please don't pay that. Yes.
Well, and that's why we're here.
Mm-hmm.
Trying to help parents understand the process and make this a more understandable experience for them. Many of our parents are Spanish speakers.
Correct.
And so many of them didn't go to college, don't speak English, and yet we can't let that be the barrier.
Correct. I agree with you there.
So whatever it takes.
And I will say in the 11th grade, the students, they take the PSAT, and the higher the score that they make on the PSAT, they are eligible for different scholarships for it, the National Merit Scholarship. So we offer the PSAT we offer it for, our 8th through 11th grade students, but it's the 11th grade students who actually receive the scholarship. Then we also, for our seniors, we just, it's just like driven in them, like to go ahead and apply. It's really hard work because I hope you guys are listening because they, some of them are resistant and others, they don't mind. But it's very important for students to take every assessment serious. So we also offered the SAT, and with the SAT, some colleges, one of the things that we talk with the students about is how to get into colleges, the requirements. So when they're researching, they have to also research not only the major and the minor, but also what are the SAT, ACT requirements. Some students like to take both. Usually our schools will accept one or the other. So as a school, we offer SAT. However, we do offer waivers for students who are eligible to take the ACT. So that won't be a barrier as well. And the main thing is for the students to know their requirements. And so with that, It's also usually location. Some students, they really want to move far away from home. And so they think. However, they want to move so far away from home. And if that's the case, then we ask students to, if they want to leave out of Texas, we ask them to use the Common App. And they only have to use one. If they're thinking of any college outside of Texas, then we want them to use the Common App for applications.
Do they understand that they pay more when they go out?
They do understand, and that's one of the things when we research, we look at tuition. So I always have them, like to research. Usually we've found, and I mean, it's not just a true scale, but in most cases, it's at least $10,000 more for them to attend a college or university out of state. Mm-hmm. So that's what they know that information. But some of them still want to go, and it's okay. We encourage, Texas. However, we want the students to go to college. So if they want to go and they're eligible, we can get them money to go, then we would like for them to go.
And, we've talked a lot about our Plano valedictorian. Mm-hmm. And she got the full ride at Johns Hopkins.
Correct.
And so one of the things we didn't mention during this podcast, but just as a reminder, that we also give certificates, or students can earn certificates around their content area that would let them be able to have part-time jobs in that area. And this young lady, our valedictorian from last year, got a certificate in medical billing and coding. And so now she's able to work part-time online doing medical billing and coding while she's getting her degree at Johns Hopkins for free, because she got a full ride.
That's great.
So
That's awesome.
It's not complete. We had her mother on a podcast. It's not completely paid for. It's like $1,000 or maybe $5,000 difference that they owe, and so she's able to help with that.
But Johns Hopkins is very expensive, so either $1,000 or $5,000.
It's a drop in the bucket.
Yes.
Yes. Yes, it's well worth it. She's going to be a great researcher.
Well, I will say that I did communicate with one of our students, Ally Spiel from the Plano campus, and let's see what she has to say about her journey to college.
Hello, I'm Natasha Forge, the College and Career Counselor for Legacy Preparatory, and today I have Ally Spiel with me. She is a May 2019 senior, and so she's going to graduate, and we're excited for that. However, Allison, I would like to ask you a few questions as it relates to you and your journey for college. Okay?
Okay.
When did you begin thinking about attending college?
I've always known that I would attend college. My parents have talked with me from a very young age about how important college was, and they both attended college, and so they constantly were telling me how important it was and how great it was and how much fun they had, as well as how much they learned. And so I've always been interested in attending, and I'm really excited to next year.
Okay, in the fall. Okay.
Yeah.
Great. All right. So what steps have you taken yourself to prepare for college?
Well, I have researched a lot about colleges a lot last year through junior year, and I've talked with counselors and a lot of people about it, and I've applied for college and for scholarships, and have just been trying to gain as much information as I could about college and like which one was right for me. And I chose my major. I'm going to be an early childhood education major.
Okay, wonderful. All right, that's great. How has Legacy assisted you in the preparation process?
Legacy has offered dual credit classes, which has been amazing, because I have now, at the end of this semester, I will have had 31 credit hours of college, which is amazing and really great before even going into college. So that has been really great. And they, the counselors have been amazing, talking to me about college readiness steps and like what type of college I'm looking for and like what I want to be when I grow up and all that stuff. And they also have been sending me emails about different scholarships to look for. So they just been really, really great.
All right, that's wonderful to hear. So which colleges have you been accepted into?
I have applied to 2 colleges, Abilene Christian University and University of North Texas, and I got accepted into both. And I chose, University of North Texas that I'm going to be going to. in the fall.
Okay, so what are your next steps?
Well, my next steps are to apply for more and more and more scholarships, and I'm currently in the process of applying for the Honors College at UNT.
Okay, is there anything else you would like to share with students as to how they can also be on the path that you're on?
Just hard work and constantly keeping in mind your goals, your future goals, and not just say, "I'll just do it later." Like, do it now, and think about what you want to be. And if you think about what you want to be and who you are, then you'll be able to find the college that's right for you, and then you can start going down that path to that college.
All right, well, thank you so much, Allison. We'll
You're
really
welcome.
appreciate it today.
Of course.
Thank
Well, we thank you for doing that interview. Allie works on Tuesdays, and so we've had several opportunities and asked her to be on several times, and she was dismayed that she wasn't able to. So we've now found, thank goodness for technology, a way to bring her voice and her enthusiasm and really her message. And the message that I was left with after hearing her and you is that getting ready for college, and I mean just the operational part of getting ready to go to college for day one college, it takes a lot of effort and it takes more than 1 year.
Yes, it does.
Would you say the big push really starts in 11th grade? I know we start in 9th, and we start the layering that needs to happen, especially around the essays and the resume. But when is the big push to start with scholarships and so forth? Can that start in 11th grade?
Yes, I will say this first. I will say the big push is going to start from home. The conversation, the constant conversation of parents talking with their children about going to college, and that's when it puts it in. It's driven within them, just like she said. It's more of a, you're going to college. It's it's not even an option. So they just automatically to begin thinking that way. I will say, as it relates to us in education, we have to continue to give students opportunities to see things that are relevant to them, like I say, with the different careers in elementary. However, there are some scholarships out there that our sixth graders can apply for, that we have 7th through 12th grade students can apply for. However, the major push for us is still going to be in the 9th grade, and that's because we want to make sure that students are on track, because every grade that they make matters. And so one of the things that students don't always realize is that sometimes I make a grade in 8th grade and I may not be passing. However, I may go to 9th grade based on some other factors. However, in 9th grade, if I'm not successful in a class or for a semester, I may not receive that credit, which will cause me to, for one, maybe not graduate, but for two, it's going to lower my GPA. So the way our GPA is set up is for each semester course that they take. So for example, English 1, we call it English 1A and English 1B. So English 1A, if they make an A in that class, then they have what we consider a 4 towards their GPA. And if they make a 73 for the second semester, then they'll have was basically a 2. So then their GPA is calculated based on the 4.0 scale. So many students, when they look at their GPA, they're like, oh my gosh, I can't believe that I have a 2.97. But when you go back and look at all the courses and they've made maybe a 69 here or a 73 there, then it becomes more relevant. But if they understand that, especially for our students who are in 8th grade taking high school courses and starting in 9th grade, it's very important if they begin the process of making those A's and B's. And then another way that they can increase their GPA is by taking the dual credit courses. And when they take those dual credit courses, the scale then becomes a 5.0. So that way they have a better chance of being in the top 6 or top 10%. We used to focus on the top 10%, but now some colleges are saying that it's the top 6%.
To get in free?
Well, to get in automatically. So it's usually not free,
Okay.
but they can get in automatically.
So we'll give the example of UT Austin used to be the top 10. Are they still top
No,
10%?
they're not. They're top 6.
And it just because they're so big now.
Correct.
And
And there's
we
so
have
many schools.
Yeah, we have so many more kids applying to college.
Correct.
So they've lowered that to the top 6%.
Yes, and so a lot of other colleges are following suit. So it makes it a little bit more difficult for our students to get in automatically. And so that's why it's also very important for them to focus on their SAT scores or ACT. And then there's other components that they have to focus on too, and it's just to make sure that they're, like their rank. We want to make sure that their rank is higher,
Right.
out of how many students we have.
Well, we have reached towards the end of our 30 minutes, and we could talk a lot more about this. Could you tell us how parents can learn more outside of this podcast?
Yes, they are welcome to come to the activities that we offer at the school, like we had the college night. They can research information online, talk with their students about what major and minors they want to look into, and then have like a family night to where they begin to research information for themselves so that they'll be knowledgeable of what path that their child wants to go into, which makes it a lot easier.
So, and they can contact you.
And yes, and then I'll be available.
It's nforge@legacypca.com.
That's correct.
To email you.
Mm-hmm.
Because we really don't want parents to suffer in silence.
Correct.
This is life-changing information, life-changing activities that the kids are doing in their high school years to prepare for day one of college. And so making sure that our parents stay as informed as our kids, because our kids aren't great communicators with our parents.
That is true.
A lot of times, that they know, that they keep abreast of this information. It'll save them money
That is
in the
true.
long run.
That is true.
So thank you for coming again and giving us even more information. I know that this podcast information is so valuable that we can use it again for parent nights and, with other kids, so that we can make sure we continue hammering this message out, that not only is Legacy a college prep school, but that we pay for the college, we get them ready, we prepare them for their TSIs and their SATs. We are that school that wants to make sure your child is ready for day one of college after they graduate from us.
Correct.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you for tuning in to the Ask Dr. Be Good show. For more information on Legacy Preparatory Charter Schools, visit our website, legacypca.com, or call 469-249-1099. And remember to like us on Facebook, where we stream live weekly Tuesdays at 3 p.m.